What is the scariest noise that you've heard, so scary that your body had a physical response, and what made it? When I was younger, I was home alone and I thought I heard footsteps in my house. I started to freak out and I could barely get up off my bed to go to my bedroom door. I started to ask if anyone was there, but I didn't get a response, but I couldn't hear the footsteps anymore. I closed the door and locked it to prevent anyone from getting inside. Then, I realized it was just our water boiler making weird sounds and I was just being a dunce. I live alone now and heard footsteps on the stairs. I looked up, expecting to see a burglar, but I saw nothing as the noise continued. Closer to the bottom end, it's my 9-pound cat who absolutely stomps down the stairs. She's tiny but seems to have her own gravitational field that makes her 10 times as heavy when she wakes up from her nap on my bed. She has faked out multiple people since her footsteps sound human. It's creepy. I was at my desk, working. Suddenly this absolutely piercing scream erupted. This sound was so loud that it hurt my ears even when I cupped my hands over them and pressed as hard as I could. Several of us exited the office and ran down the stairs, but that's where the sound was coming from. Turns out, one of the pipes exploded off two 2,000-gallon air accumulation tanks pressurized to 200 psi by an industrial screw compressor. This thing made a train whistle sound like a whisper. I physically couldn't get close enough to turn the ball valve, it hurt too much. One of my co-workers was practically deaf, so he just walked up without a care in the world and shut it off. I was sitting in the office and heard a low whoosh sound coming from the living room. My cat came tearing out of the living room like something had really spooked her. I ran into the living room and my couch was in flames. Our laptop was charging and the battery exploded and ignited the underside of the couch. The noise I heard was the fabric on the bottom burning instantly. It was a thin material. What's crazy is I didn't know what that noise was, I just knew something really bad and dangerous was going on, and my immediate gut reaction was to leave the apartment. As a young and impressionable teen, I heard this horrible noise outside that sounded like an animal dying. Looked out my window. Nope. Not dying. Just the neighbor's cat having a cat orgy. I thought they were killing each other first. Something I never want to witness again. Edit, I think I'm gonna turn off notifications. I'm learning entirely too much about cat anatomy, lol. Wild dogs tearing apart our food provisions while camping lakeside in Mexico. The growls were deep and methodical. They were keeping us scared while also establishing dominance amongst each other. Fucking terrifying. I was very close to a lightning strike one time while watching a thunderstorm outside a friended beach house. When it's that close, it's not at all like the lightning sound, you know. It's like the loudest crack noise you've ever heard, with snapping noises and even the smell of an electrical fire. We immediately all started screaming like a band of monkeys and ran inside. To this day I can remember there was such an intense feeling all the way in my gut, inside of my primordial soul, that said, get the fuck as far away from this as you possibly can or you will die. In that moment there was nothing that could have kept my lizard-level brain function outside with that lightning. Some real caveman primal fear shit I'd never felt before and haven't felt since. Air raid sirens at 5 a.m., and I thought war had broken out. I had just arrived in Cyprus, having landed at like midnight. I was staying with friends in their guest bedroom, and after close to 24 hours of travel I was dead to the world. But then the air raid sirens started. I hid under the bed, and it felt like it went on forever, but then I slowly realized no one else seemed to be reacting to the sirens. No one outside screaming, no jets actually flying overhead, nothing. It turns out it was the annual commemoration of the Turkish invasion of Cyprus, and my friends forgot to tell me. When my baby was a couple months old, she was in the crib next to the bed I was sleeping in. My 2 dogs were on the bed with me. I woke up to the normally quiet, well, quieter dog, sitting straight up next to my head. She was growling this low, long growl. So mean and scary. I never heard anything like it before. I look to the bedroom door and I see a round shape coming in the door. Like human head height. Holy frig. It was a balloon, from having a new baby a couple months prior. It had started to lose its helium and traveled down the hallway right into the bedroom. Scared the crap out of me. My heart still races when I think of it. I was driving home from work one day, it was nighttime and dark out. I was super zoned out driving, listening to some podcast, just trying to unwind from work. From my back seat I hear what I thought was a jacket moving, so I thought there was someone in the back seat. As a girl living in a big city, I immediately thought someone was there ready to kill me. The feeling that sound gave me was a feeling I've never felt before. I felt my heart drop to my stomach and my hands froze to the steering wheel. My whole body froze, just waiting for something to happen. My foot froze too and took my foot off the accelerator. Kind of like waiting for an impact. After silence I turn around and turn on the light. Turns out it was just an empty grocery bag that I had in the back seat that fell to the floor. It's one of the reusable ones, so it sounded like someone wearing a windbreaker moving. It took me a few minutes to gather my composure. Rolled down the windows to get some air and everything. Crazy what your body does when it thinks you're in danger. The death rattle. It's real. I'll never forget it. Pray to God you never hear it. Heard it when I found my mom, face down on the floor. Tried to find a pulse, rolled her a little and it happened. By far, worst moment of my life. R.I.P. Hiking in the woods behind my brother's house, about a quarter of a mile away from anyone, and it's starting to get dark, so I know it's time to turn and go home. It's then that I hear the sound of a mountain lion scream. It sounds like a woman being ripped in half, and I can't even begin to guess the distance, maybe 100 feet, or it could be even right behind. I just know the sound is still ringing in my ears and I suddenly want to shit myself. I've never ran back home so fast. I'll never forget that sound. I used to have a window air conditioner about a foot from my bed right by my head. One night it had ice built up inside and some fell off into the fan that blows the cold air out. I woke up to an extremely loud bang, and my face got sprayed with mist from the ice. For a moment I thought someone broke in and shot my wife and that was her blood spraying on me. Scared the absolute fuck out of me until I realized what happened. My bedroom door slowly opening. It wasn't just creaking from the hinges that got me. I heard the latch from the doorknob snap free from the doorframe. I swear it sounded like somebody opened the door to rob me, kill me, or both. Turns out my bedroom door didn't shut all the way and the window unit in the living room turned on and the change in air pressure forced my bedroom door open. Was backpacking with a friend out in Colorado at Golden Gate Canyon National Park. We were deep in the backcountry portion, near the top of the mountain in Forgotten Valley. If you've been there, I was yelling shit at a cliffside listening to my echo when my buddy suddenly grabs my shoulder and whispers, "Shut the fuck up, now." Before I could ask him what was wrong, we heard a bear roar right behind the tree line we were at. I've never felt my blood run cold, so to say, but it definitely did then. Auditory hallucinations. Before I was on antipsychotics as a teen, I would hear what sounded like ghosts whispering my name, sometimes some taps or claws on the wall. A little unsettling, but I learned to brush them off. One night though, I was alone in my basement doing some late night gaming by myself. Mom upstairs asleep. It was an old house, so the walls were wood instead of concrete. The tapping began again and increased to what sounded like sharp nails across the wood. I looked around and saw nothing moving. Then it got louder, like 20 people were banging their fists against the wall as hard as they could in the room, combined with the clawing. It was deafening and I couldn't move. I was shaking so hard, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I covered my ears and closed my eyes, praying for it to go away, and I must have screamed because when I next came to, my terrified mom was at my side rubbing my back asking what was wrong. Hallucinations aren't real, but they're still terrifying. Brains are weird. I swore I could hear voices mumbling at night sometimes. I still can sometimes. I can't hear what they're saying, or how many there are, but it freaks me out every time. I think it has something to do my overactive brain and some undealt with mental health issues. Therapy soon. Oh God, I sound insane.